One of the main reasons why most people fail to understand debt is because of the traditional education system. Schools do not teach people to understand the language of money, which makes them job seekers. When you're in a job, you can't use debt to reduce the taxes you pay. But the rich, whether they're big or small business owners, use interest debt to reduce profit and therefore pay less taxes. There are good debts and bad debts. If you have bad debts, it's best to get rid of them as soon as possible. Credit card debt is bad debt. If you're a compulsive shopper, student loan debt is also bad debt unless you're 100% committed to graduating and have a job that pays enough to cover the debt payments. But then, what is good debt? Debt, in terms of cash flow, is good. Bad debt takes money out of your pocket, while good debt brings money into your pocket. Financial experts call good debt for a reason. It helps them make more money. It simply means you need to invest money to make more money. But how do you get the money in the first place? You can understand cash flow as follows. If you own a house, it's not an asset. It's a liability. Because even without debt payments, you need to spend money on taxes, repairs, maintenance, and more while not receiving any money. But if you pay in cash, invest in real estate, and rent it out, you receive a cash flow. It's an asset. This cash flow should exceed debt payments and other expenses. Then you'll have money coming in instead of going out. The same goes for a car or a boat. While most boats lose money, boats that are rented out or invested in generate money. The investment covers the original debt, leaving some money with you. Once you have more money to invest, you can expand your portfolio to multiple real estate properties and live off the cash flow without having to work for a salary. So the conclusion is that not all debt is bad. You need to manage it carefully, know how to use it, and keep an eye on the cash flow. Minimize your fees. Fees are an outflow of money. They leave you with less money available to use as you wish. But is there any way to avoid paying fees? No, I'm not suggesting tax evasion. I'm suggesting fee saving, and there's a big difference between the two. Tax evasion is illegal, meaning you don't pay the fees you owe. But fee saving is legal, reducing the amount of fees you have to pay in the first place, so you pay less. To explain this, first, I need you to understand the three types of income: earned income, salary, portfolio income, and business and investment income, passive income. Earned income is the most heavily taxed due to the lack of tax benefits. Portfolio income is taxed at the highest level, but passive income is taxed at the minimum, thanks to the many tax exemptions allowed by the government. The biggest tax exemption to reduce taxable income is paying interest on debt. While most people understand debt in one way, I must highlight a lesser-known truth about debt. One of the main reasons why most people fail to understand debt is because of the traditional education system. Schools do not teach people to understand the language of money, which makes them job seekers. When you're in a job, you can't use debt to reduce the taxes you pay. But the rich, whether they're big or small business owners, use interest debt to reduce profit and therefore pay less taxes. They might be able to pay up front, have the money, but still opt to pay only to take advantage of tax exemptions. You might wonder why leave the security of employment to take the risk of starting a business. The answer is that the job market is shrinking every second. With autonomous vehicles and artificial intelligence, most jobs are becoming obsolete. With fewer and fewer jobs available, it's time to enter the world of business. Exercise your brain. I am an inspiration to many people for a reason. I don't confine myself to ways of thinking that no longer work. I am always updating myself with the present and the future. My secret mantra is to ask questions. I encourage you to do the same. And that's why I suggest we not follow the traditional path of old-fashioned and exhausting life, and stray away from school, get good grades, get a job, work hard, stay debt-free, and invest in the job market. While this path is great for many people who don't have an entrepreneurial mindset, it's not ideal for those who do. So if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you should ask questions and follow only what works for you. Nowadays, things are changing very fast, so not questioning the old way of life can be detrimental. Even with the job market shrinking, if we look beyond our surroundings, we can find opportunities everywhere. We live in a globalized world, and therefore we don't need to limit our opportunities to what's available in our country. We all have phones and internet connections, but do we know how to use them to become stronger? If we have a phone, most people would say no. That's why our brains are conditioned to avoid risks or question what exists. If we have a phone, we can connect with anyone in the world, we can offer our skills from a low-cost country and earn a salary from countries that pay more. Suppose an average American earns $50 per hour. but you can do the same job for $5 per hour. Employers will come from all sides. $5 per hour is much more than the $0 per hour you would have in your country, leaving you with a sufficient salary to start many other sources of passive income. All it takes is investing time and initial effort to establish yourself and continue learning new skills for which people are willing to pay. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Most see mistakes as something negative, but for an entrepreneur, making mistakes and learning from them is the key to becoming wealthy. Another thing we all need to develop is that mistakes are not bad, and failure is out of the question. A baby learns to walk by standing up and falling, and the same goes for any business. No business becomes profitable overnight. It's only after getting into the business and making your own mistakes that you learn what works and what doesn't. We have countless examples before us. Jeff Bezos once said he had no idea what he was doing when he started Amazon. Elon Musk's SpaceX failed 3 launches before succeeding on the 4th. I inspire you to learn from these examples. Making mistakes is the only way to learn to play the game. When you take big risks or get into something new, you're bound to make mistakes, but not learning from your mistakes becomes a problem. If you make a mistake once, it may not cost much. But if you make the same mistake again and again, you'll end up falling behind. Even before there was money, people still exchanged value. They traded or bartered with each other. So, if you had a box of rice and I had a pair of shoes, we could trade them directly, without using money. But what if you wanted to buy a dress, for example? Did you notice how hard it was to find a buyer and a seller both with the products they wanted to exchange? And that's why money was created. However, that wasn't the end. With money, the inherent concept of perceived value was introduced, and we still use this concept every day. Money has value because we as humans perceive it to be valuable. Perhaps because it's of limited quantity. If we value something more, we're willing to pay more for it. And that's where the difference between entrepreneurial thinking and employee thinking comes in. Employees seek money while entrepreneurs seek value. So, if we want to get rich quickly, we need to think more about how we can create value rather than just seeking more money. Identifying pain points and offering solutions to these problems is the key to attracting people. We need to identify problems that need to be solved and find ways to address them. That's how we end up creating value. Most successful entrepreneurs have done the same, developing billion-dollar solutions for real-world problems. The bigger the problem we solve, the more value we create. And the more value we create, the more money we earn. I assert that there is no single correct investment strategy. Our strategy must adapt to constantly changing times. In uncertain economic phases like the post-pandemic world we live in, understanding the global economy is crucial. Our financial decisions must evolve with the evolution of money. As we all know, initially money was backed by gold, but then the US dollar became the reserve currency. And in 1971, US President Richard Nixon completely eliminated the convertibility of gold. The world entered a fully fiduciary reserve regime, inflating the US dollar and making it the strongest reserve currency in the world. People holding US dollars became much richer overnight. According to economists, the global economy changes drastically every 50 years. Knowing this helps us make the right investment decisions at the right time. After the pandemic, the global economy is undergoing a recessive shift. Investors are directing their money into safe assets like gold to avoid value erosion. If a sufficient number of investors decide they want physical gold, that they want to receive gold, we'll see an incredible surge in gold. Therefore, for now, our financial decisions need to be oriented towards avoiding pitfalls. Our wealth in safe assets rather than investing in riskier assets like stock markets. Debt is considered a double-edged sword. This single instrument can make you super wealthy, but it can also lead you to ruin. Now, I want to show you how the wealthy use debt to increase their wealth, and how debt can be a powerful force that drives all your dreams and efforts. The rich have built empires with the history of debt is not new. It dates back to the 1800s when Rockefeller started his business costing $400 billion today. Rockefeller wasn't born rich. The son of a farmer and a diligent schoolgoer, he became the richest American in history, surpassing Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk combined. Rockefeller was never an exemplary student, as school taught him to get a job. As a bookkeeper's assistant, he learned about the business world practically, realizing he could generate great wealth with initial capital. He started a small agricultural commodities trading business using only $1,000 borrowed from his father. That was his first debt, but it provided a solid foundation in business. In 2 years, he was generating profits of $17,000. At that time, the oil industry was booming, and Rockefeller brought innovation by using gasoline instead of oil to extract kerosene, resulting in significant cost reduction. These innovative techniques earned the trust of banks and suppliers, who began to offer more favorable conditions. That's how Rockefeller changed the game, strategically using money to acquire smaller competitors and create a monopoly in the oil sector. This monopoly allowed him to obtain voluminous discounts and transport oil at lower rates, consolidating his fortune in the 1870s. This farmer's son became a millionaire at the age of 31, with his company, Standard Oil, refining 90% of the oil in the United States. What was most remarkable about Rockefeller was his practice of always paying his debts promptly, but not hesitating to take them on when he saw growth opportunities. The wealthy don't get richer by receiving salaries. While everyone has heard of billionaire mansions, expensive cars, and luxurious vacations, the lesser-known fact is that the rich don't pay for all this with their salaries. In 2021, Elon Musk revealed the secret behind his luxurious lifestyle in a tweet. "I just have money. The only way I pay for personal expenses is by selling money." Musk doesn't receive a salary, but he owns billions of dollars worth of Tesla shares that he doesn't sell. He uses these shares as collateral to obtain loans and lives based on that debt. Debt offers Musk dual benefits. First, it avoids paying taxes because debt, when paid with money, doesn't generate taxes, allowing him to diversify his money as he wishes. Second, by not selling his Tesla shares, he avoids paying taxes on capital gains. Musk uses his business as collateral to obtain loans, known as secured lines of credit. If he obtains a loan with a 6% interest rate, he needs to ensure that the value of Tesla grows by at least 6%. When he needs to repay the debt, he gets another loan using the same business as collateral and pays off the first loan. This cycle allows Musk to maintain his desired lifestyle. The wealthy love the real estate market. While ordinary people struggle to buy a home, the rich buy multiple properties worldwide. Surprisingly, they don't live in these houses alone. Despite having billions, they buy million-dollar properties. Elon Musk, for example, spent $61 million to buy 5 houses in California in 2018. The real estate game works like this. Suppose you find a property worth $1 million. You pay 80% of the value with borrowed money and 20% with your own investment. If your net income from the property is higher than the costs, you can rent it out without investing your own money. This strategy allows the wealthy to expand their real estate portfolio and increase their wealth. And the best part of this income is that you won't need to pay taxes on it, thanks to property tax deductions. In summary, debt is a powerful tool that can either drive or harm your wealth. The key to using debt effectively is to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt generates wealth, while bad debt destroys it. The rich understand that they don't need to be rich to live like the rich. They use debt to finance their luxurious lifestyle while paying fewer taxes. Therefore, instead of fearing debt, we should learn to use it to build our wealth. If you want to become rich, stop working for money and start making money work for you. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Now I'll leave you with 2 important videos. Choose one and stay a little longer with me.